all of the good stuff. It'll come with all of the signs and all of the like sign up pages and really good information for the people that are host or doing a garage sale, like how to price their items and how to do all of that. I'm working with Janine Sasso on that. She does a really big garage sale event in her own farm every year. And so we've taken all of her knowledge and like just made it pretty really. And so I'm excited to release that kit.
Super. Yeah, I have your whole vault and I've been playing with it for the past like a half year and I just like absolutely loving it.
Yes, I am happy that you bought it because I do think that if you're going to use our stuff, like that's just the best way to do it. Then you get to shop like a catalog, like it's
Make
easy
more
and
sense. Yeah, and you guys are
um,
staying really good on top of the actually adding the new assets to the vault, so it's all there.
the new way we're doing it makes it so much easier to do instead of actually the spreadsheet was a little bit more cumbersome because it was like we're already adding it to our main website, so it's just easy to like add it to the additional site. But when it was the spreadsheet, it was like more steps, and so it was took longer for us to get them up, but now it's just an extra click. So great. That's great feedback though. Thank you.
Oh, wait, just one quick thing. So I was
Sure.
doing a little review on the cookbook, and I think there was okay, so there was a page when it says my favorite vegetarian dishes, and there was actually ham and
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah. So we did fix that and we sent out a new template that reflected those. And I actually think that if you open the template that you purchased the link for it, not the one that you've now copied, but it should be updated. But we did see that, so we apologize. There was a couple that we ended up switching, not just that one, but I think there was a couple that I was like, nah, I think they could go here, but I think they should go here. And so I ended up changing my mind on that. But
Awesome. I love it. Thank you.
yeah, thanks for letting me know though.
Sure.
Hi. Hi, Mickey. Hi, Alyssa.
Hi there.
Hi. This is going to be super interactive. We're a little bit ahead of schedule, so we're just chatting. But if I'm going along and you guys have a question as I go, please feel free to stop me and just ask because that's the best way to learn. I have been ordering more samples from Canva because I have a lot of people asking about all of the products that come out of there. And I will say that their magazine, which is what I don't know if that is how you printed your cookbook or not, but I got my journal printed as a magazine quality, which I will say, yay!
Yeah.
So the magazine too on there.
Yep. Hmm.
Okay, so the only thing I'm like, the page texture on the inside is pretty slick. So you are going to have like a Sharpie maybe or something, and you can't
Yeah.
change the paper type, at least yet, inside a Canvas. So it's like one option only, and that's what you get. So, but I'm just experimenting and trying to order. I did order sweatshirts. I got them yesterday, and they're okay. They're all right. I feel like that's probably not going to be like their cornerstone item, but I was like, I need to order just so I can see what it's like. I do have some of their magnets coming, and I'm super excited about that.
Oh, that's
One of
good.
the
I think that we've gotten magnets before from like Sticker Mule or something like that, but I
Yeah,
haven't tried Canva.
yes. I've done a couple of different magnet places, but not Canva yet either. So this is their tri-fold brochure. I really liked it. It came folded. It even came with envelopes, but it printed very well. Like I felt like all of the details, it's all nice and crisp. So I was very impressed with that. And I think you can order as little as like five, which I love.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Kelly, what printer do you use? You know, the one that's it's a good quality but not super expensive.
Do you feel like Canva's a little too expensive?
I looked at a Canva and I looked at the one, I think in one of the videos you brought out this big box and I looked at the I think it's a Primo or something like that. Primo or some sort of so they definitely had a different prices. The Canva had better pricing.
Okay. Well, so far I've really enjoyed Canva, but for an alternative, I have some samples, but I won't grab them. Printivity. Printivity. I really like. I've used them before. The one thing about them is that you do typically have to order in bulk. So if there is something that you only need a few copies printed of, that probably wouldn't be my number one choice. If you need something like today and you're going to a listing presentation or something that you have to have it today, I've actually done like same day printing through Office Max, and I've been really impressed with them. The one thing that you need to be prepared for with Office Max is that they don't die cut print same day, which means that they will not print to the edge of the paper. There will be a white border if you were to have this printed same day, because their printers can't do what we would call a die cut print. So that's something to be aware of for them. If you have a project that you have a little bit of extra time to wait and like do some longer shipping, I'm still a fan of Vistaprint. They've been around a long time and they've got a ton of products. I am going to grab one sample. I have some samples coming of this, but hasn't arrived yet. So this is just like, I just want you to know this is an elevated agent promotion, not like a template, but it is super cool. So I want to show you. So the sample I have coming is for an open house. Honestly, like you guys could put these outside of stores or anything, but what it is it's an A fold. So this is what we call an A fold sign. It's also the coriated board plastic, and it's printed on the sign. And what you do is you just hold the bottoms together, and then you could set this anywhere you want for any type of promotion. And I made this inside a Canva and then just uploaded it as an image and printed straight on there. And it is super high quality. I love it. Like I said, we have a whole bunch of open house ones in the works right now, and I have a sample coming. But my thought with that is like for an open house day, you could have that sitting by the front door or outside or something, and it could say, like when people are walking in, it could just say like, welcome to the open house, ask questions, kind of like a general thing. And then on the back, we have a design where it was like how I can help you, and has your photo on there, and it says like how I can help you sell. And then it has a QR code, how I can help you buy QR code. So that way, when they're leaving, there is also another way for them to connect with you. These signs that I just showed are Vistaprint. Like I said, they are the A-frame, I'm probably going to say this wrong, coriated plastic. I'm not quite sure how you say that. Hello to everyone jumping on. Okay, so I just want, oh, go ahead.
You might drop the link to that sign, or is it already available?
I can, if you give me just a second, I can definitely. I just want to let everyone know that is on right now that this is an interactive training. I'm just going to tell you my journey and how I think that other people can do something similar and maybe either advance what they're doing now or even start something new. So if there's ever a time that I'm speaking about something and you want more information, or maybe I glaze over it a little too fast and I need to go back, feel free to stop me or ask me questions. That is the way you're going to get the most out of this. It's definitely something that I want to talk on, things that you guys are interested in as well. So feel free to ask more questions. Okay. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna drop this in. And it looks like they start out at $55. The one thing that we do try to do when we make these type of signs is we do try to make them more evergreen. So we wouldn't put like the picture of the open house on this sign. It would be more of a general marketing piece, just so that way you could use it over and over. There is a thing that you can do where if you have the right software and you do a QR code, you can actually update the landing page of a QR code over and over instead of getting new QR codes. So if you did want to use this sign for some type of login, or even say if you wanted to use this sign for a giveaway, you could actually update the QR code and just reuse the sign over and over, but you do have to have additional software and kind of knowledge on how to do that. So just some fun ideas. I literally am always trying to like think, okay, how can I make this better? How can I use this? All right. So hello, everyone. My name is Kelly Higgins. I am here in Kansas, and it is freezing. It's crazy cold. It's like 0. It's so awful. I'm not a winter girl, but I have created a business called Elevated Agent. It's absolutely changed my life. And now I just love talking and helping other people on either creating their own, their already made business into something that they can just really enjoy and get the most out of, or like I said earlier, start something brand new and change where they're going in life. That's what I did. I have been a real estate agent for 18 years this year. I think actually it might be 19 this year. And it is something that, so I live in very rural America. Topeka is one of the biggest places that I have lived. I am from a town of less than 1,000 people, no stoplights. Nothing that even, there's not even a Casey's there anymore. But so I have gone from selling real estate in that small of a community all the way here to a city. I was also an economic developer of Coffee County. So I was able to learn the commercial side of real estate, but also I was able to really take my knowledge while I was there and help all kinds of businesses grow. So my knowledge doesn't only come from real estate. It definitely comes from a business advocacy side. And then I was also a lobbyist at the state of Kansas for business advocacy through the state chamber. That's a mouthful. Okay, so when I moved here, though, I knew nobody. When I moved to Topeka, I knew literally 0 people. It was me and my husband. We moved here for my position at the state. And I just was like, you know what? I think I want to try real estate again. You know, it's a bigger area. We're going to see what we can do. The position I was in was very much into networking. And so I was like, shoot, that just goes hand in hand, right? And so I did. And I absolutely took off. I was the fastest growing agent in 2016 in the city of Topeka. And it was because I was using all of these new ideas for marketing that no one else was trying. I always joke that our state commission would like call me. I swear they had me on speed dial because they would say like, "You got another complaint," which sounds crazy, but the complaints weren't ever like I never got a fine. But what people weren't used to was what I was doing, and so they just thought has to be illegal, like whatever she's doing can't. And what it was is back in 2015, this was like new technology. So now it's everyone does, and we've moved on from it. But what it was is the major thing I was doing is I owned my Topeka home value. Wait, let me think. It was Topeka Home Value. That was it. TopekaHomeValue.com. And people could go on there and just get an instant CMA. This was before brokerages even had this as an option on their like normal websites and stuff. Now it's just automatic. But I was then going to Facebook and really pushing it through social media. I had flyers printed. I mean, I was just talking about it all the time. And people just thought, well, there's just no, it has to be wrong. Like you can't do an instant CMA like that. And so they would call me and say, Kelly, we got another call. Or they would see my marketing, which you can kind of see here behind me. They would see it out and it is just different looking. And so people just started coming to me and saying, where did you get this? Where can I find this? Where did you buy this? Tell me more about this. And again, this was a time that Canva was in its infancy and no one had logins. Sorry, guys, I have a cold, so I'm like struggling here a little bit. Into Canva. When I first applied to get a user for Canva, you had to apply, you had to get on a wait list, and then you finally would get selected. That was about 9 years ago for me. So I've been on there since then. And that's where I started building everything out. I was originally in Photoshop, and then I moved over to Canva because I loved the idea that it was online. And then I also love the idea that I could send my designs to other people and that they could even potentially edit, which that was still new back then too. But and so that was one thing that I was like, I need to take note of that. I need to take note of when people are saying That's really cool. Where did you get that? And so I really encourage you guys to look at areas in your life where people are asking you, where did you get that? Or how did you come up with that? Or can you do that for me? Or can you show me how to do that? Or anything where they're complimenting something that you've done, a skill, anything like that, take note of it. Now, it might not be your next business idea, but it will help you start recognizing the skills that you already have that could be an amazing business idea or a business asset. This was something that I was like, I am pretty good at this. I'd had experience in the past with past businesses of mine in graphic design. And so then I was just blessed with a friend that was on Etsy. And she was selling SVG files that people then would print on t-shirts. Completely not what I do. But I was just so curious. And I just want to let you guys, like, encourage you to be curious. If there's ever anything that like grabs your attention, I implore you to like investigate, because when she told me that, I don't know why, but my ears just were kind of like, well, how are you doing that? Like, that's not a physical thing. I mean, I knew Etsy as just arts and crafts type, website. And I was just like, I don't understand that. I like tech, so I was into it. And so she said, well, I make it not on Canva. She was doing other, but then I just send them basically like the PNG, which is it's called an SVG. And so I was like, man, I think I could do that. Like, I know that I can do that on Canva. Like, I can get a link, and everyone wants my listing presentation. So like, I think I can maybe do that. And so I was one of the very first ones on Etsy doing digital downloads. I think it was me and one other person in the real estate niche on Etsy doing digital downloads. And we just took it by storm. It was crazy how fast it grew. But I do think it was because I listened when those people were asking, where did you get that? Because it was like, there was just like a momentum kind of growing around it just naturally. And it was crazy. It just really naturally grew. It took off. There was a really big learning curve, I will say, especially if you're coming out with a product that is new to the market, that you are going to have to educate your clients on how to use your product. And so that is something that we have baked in from the very beginning, from very high level all the way down to even at this today. We still make videos on little quick videos on like how to use our product. How we did one for, this isn't it, but like this is a Canva magazine, and we did a real quick video on how to print them straight out of Canva. And so we're still educating our customers on how to use our products, but I actually think that that is something that people really enjoy about us, that it's like not only a once and done. Like, we're going to continue with you. We're going to help you learn. We're going to be here for you when you want to buy your next product. And we're going to teach you about that too. So whatever you're kind of thinking, just remember that if it is a new to market product, that is probably going to be something that you have to consider. The other thing that I just kind of want to say on that same topic is, if I would have listened to the people that said, well, if there's nobody doing it, there's a reason. Yes. Yeah. You can think that, but I'm not. And I'm now growing a very successful business. So don't let people say that and stop you. If it's not on the market, there's a reason why it's not on the market. Nobody has come out with it yet. So really, just if you feel like you have a good idea and you believe in it, do it. Don't let people stop you or anything when it comes to those ideas. I'm going to take a second and just ask, does anyone have any questions or anything at this point? Like, if you guys have questions about ideas you might have, if you need help with maybe developing your idea or adding something onto your idea, feel free to ask. I'm happy to kind of talk through those things. I was just on a coaching call with a client of mine who I was coaching, and he is a coach himself, and he's just kind of having a hard time getting people to enroll in his big coaching course. And it's an expensive course. And so what we did was we reverse engineered it, and we figured out that he just needed more top of funnel products on pulling people in. So we developed some top of funnel ideas. So if you guys have any type of issues going through this training, like I'm happy to stop and kind of talk about those things. Okay, so what I started on Etsy, what I did was I kind of took my products, my core products, which was a lot of home value type of things. So we did home value flyers, we did some postcards, of course, our listing and buyer presentation, and a couple of other things. And that's what we started out our Etsy with. I think we pushed really hard to have 20 products when we started. That is something that I just learned through my research. And so that's kind of what we did. I actually still really recommend anyone that wants to start a Etsy shop, I would start with at least 20 products. That way you really give Etsy a selection of items to push, because they really do want you to make sales and they try really hard to push your products. But if you're only starting your store with one thing, then it's hard for it to only push one, so at least when you start with 20, you will start with a splash, because anytime you put a new listing on Etsy, they will organically push that listing for a certain amount of time to kind of test it on the market. When they push it, they're either saying or seeing, are people liking and saving this? Are people buying this? Or are people ignoring this? And then that's just kind of how it continues to be pushed after that. If people aren't liking or buying, then it won't push it near as much. If people are, then clearly it'll push it more. So that is what I did. I just started out with the free account on Etsy. I think we actually just upgraded to the $10 a month account like a year ago, which is kind of funny because we've been at this now 8 years. And just side note, we really didn't see any type of benefit from upgrading to the paid Etsy. The only reason why we keep it is at this point, we are at the top 1% of Etsy. I do feel like it looks more professional on our end. And I do like, some of the features it offers. So you really don't get a lot of upgrades for paying for Etsy, just so you guys know. And so we started out our first year on Etsy, and that was pretty much where we sat. But I knew that I needed my own owned place online. So then we moved over to Shopify, and that is where we started our Shopify store. That's where we still are. If you are looking to build a product online that you will sell a product or a digital download, I highly, highly recommend using Shopify. You might think, well, I only have 2 items, but I might have 20 in a year, but I'm just going to start over here on Squarespace. Don't do it. Go ahead and start out with Shopify, because it is built for e-commerce. For one, that's all they do is e-commerce. But 2, the other websites, they are not built for e-commerce as their number one goal. They're also built to look pretty. Shopify's not really built to look pretty. Make it look pretty, but and I would just recommend not having to do that conversion later down the road, because it's kind of robust and cumbersome when you're having to move products. So I would just really recommend starting out on Shopify. They make the process of purchasing and downloading and taxes and all of the reporting very easy. And they will, even if you guys are selling to out of state customers, then you will need to make sure that you're collecting sales tax in those states. It will actually help you do that and keep track of that for you. It'll even actually transfer money if you tell it to automatically out of your account into a special tax savings account for you. And last time I checked, I think your Shopify balance earns about 2.2% interest. So you actually get a benefit of keeping your money in there if you choose to do that. So okay, so why you might want to do that though, just explain a little bit more. My checking account, I don't get that much in interest. So it is actually, I'm making more money by keeping my balance in Shopify than transferring it each month over to my bank account. And how that works on the back end with my QuickBooks is actually, we have plugged Shopify into QuickBooks and my checking account. So then that way everything flows through there and it all matches. So that is the reason why you might want to keep the money inside of Shopify balance. That is kind of a new thing on Shopify. And I think it's great and I really enjoy it. Does anyone have any questions on like the website aspect, the back end, anything like that? If you don't have a product-based business and you're selling a service, so like if you're a coach or therapist, anything like that, I really like to, I really like Show It. Show It is an amazing platform to build on. I will say it's maybe like if you're a very beginner, I would maybe, it might take you a little bit of a learning curve. But I really like Show It. Someone asked, what do you think about Stand Store? I really like Stand Store. I need to set it up. That's what I think. Sometimes you have a whole list of things and it just but I do really like Stand Store. I think if you have, especially if you have multiple things, the one thing I would say about those type of products, Later also has a really nice, like what this is what we would call a link in bio product, where like on TikTok or Instagram, you can have one link and then it kind of can land where they can click multiple links. Stand Store and Later, those are really good for products, but also a lot of people use them when they're using like an affiliate business. So let's say somebody that maybe is an Amazon affiliate and they're wanting people to go shop their stuff. It's really good for that. I would say be careful if you have a product store. I wouldn't necessarily put a lot of products in it. I would maybe put your top couple, but then link out to more specific landing pages. So maybe I would put like our top 4 selling products. And then I would say, okay, if you want more information about farming, click here. And then it would take them to where they could look more specifically for those products. So I just think you want to be careful with the amount of links you're giving people because it can overwhelm them and then they click off. So definitely do that. I would also definitely make sure that you have it branded for yourself and your company's brand. Sometimes when you're setting them up, you can just do like one of their templates and they're so cute and everything, but please have it look like wherever they are clicking off of. For example, if they're clicking off of your TikTok to go to your Stand Store, make it look like something that they would see on your TikTok instead of just using their canned templates. The reason why this is it's actually a psychology thing. This is why branding is so important. And that's because every time they're clicking or every time they're looking at you, it is a brick of trust in your foundation. And so if they're on TikTok and they love all of your videos and they click in your Stand Store and then it looks like someone totally different, they go from preppy to like grunge on your Stand Store, I don't know. They're going to be like, ooh, like that doesn't feel right. And they're going to click off because it just feels like it's not the same person. And what that does is actually takes a brick out of your foundation. So that is why we always say that all of your profiles should have the same profile picture. Your logo should look the same everywhere. Okay, we're not doing a maroon logo over here and a lime green one over here. And no, that's why we don't do that, is because every time you're either building trust or you're breaking trust. So we want to build, and that's really where your brand standards and everything come into play. Okay, any other questions on that? Okay, so then once we got our website, I really just decided the website was going to be our absolute hub. At that point, we are 2 to 3 years in, and we decide that we're going to start pushing everyone to the website and no more to Etsy, because honestly, at the end of the day, Etsy takes about 50%. Kind of depends on how you use their website, their platform, but anywhere between 40 and 50% is what they take. And that can hurt. So there were a couple of reasons why I made that decision to stop pushing to Etsy. One was, of course, that split, that 50-50 was kind of stinky because I get everything on Shopify. The second one was I don't really want to send one of my clients to Etsy and then lose them to my competitor. That had definitely been happening. More and more competitors had been coming onto Etsy, seeing the success that the few of us had had. Of course, there are people starting to flood. Now there's those people that are like 20,000 templates for $5, so I always just think, I'm going to put a pin on that and come back, but I always just think you get what you pay for. So Hopefully that's what other people think too. But I didn't want to send people to Etsy and lose them to a competitor. And third, and this one is really important, and I think that sometimes when you're at the beginning of your business building, you kind of discount how important this is. But the third reason was I didn't own my customers' information. And Etsy actually it is against their terms and conditions to take your customers' personal information to market to them. You cannot mail them a postcard with the mailing address that they put in for your product. You cannot email them with the email that they use to download your product. That is their information and not yours. And you know what? As a business owner, I want to own that. I work really hard to get people to go to our website. So when they're there, like I need to capitalize on everything I can. So those were the top 3 reasons that we ended up moving away from Etsy and into our new Shopify. I do want to say though that we're still very much on Etsy. It is now about a fourth of our annual income, from 100% down to a fourth. And I still really respect them. However, that there are now a lot of copyright issues. And so I'm going to jump into this now from a few seconds ago, but when you are looking at creating a business, especially a creative business and especially a creative business online, you are going to have people that copy you. That is just how it is. They will copy everything. They will copy your items descriptions. They will copy your item photos, like even your mock-ups. Even the things that you say in your mock-ups, they will verbatim take it. They will buy stuff from you, download it, and then sell it themselves or give it away for free. I've had all of these things happen. It sucks. And even 8 years in, sometimes when I find someone, it still is really hard. Like I still get emotional. I still get my feelings hurt. I still think, dang, like people suck, like I feel like I'm a pretty optimistic person and I'm really easy to forgive and move on. And I just think everyone is out for all the good reasons, but not everyone is. And that is kind of the yucky side of business. And so be prepared for that is really what I want to say, but don't let it stop you. Don't let it slow your momentum. I would definitely let that happen in the early stages. This is me being vulnerable, just letting you guys behind the curtain. I would let it get to me. It would get me down. It maybe make me feel like I wasn't enough, or that people just are crappy. I don't know. But, and then I would stay there for a little while. And now we don't do that. Sometimes I'll give myself a day if it's a really bad one. Then I call my lawyer now, but but I will give myself, if it happens and you can't help but be like, man, that ruined my day. Okay, fine. Give it a day. No problem. The next day we're moving on from it though, because we can't stop it. We're going to try to take care of it. We're going to tell the people to take it down. We're going to address it, but we're not going to dwell on it because it's going to happen over and over and over. It does. Let me tell you, there's not a stage in this business that I've ever gotten to where it's like, okay, good, that has stopped, because it will happen. I do get a lot of people that say, well, like, what do you do about it? Or doesn't that stop you from making more, or whatever? And it doesn't. That is something that you just have to decide when you start your business and know this is a type of industry where people can steal and be yucky. I'm okay with that. I'm not going to let it stop me from finding my own success, and I'm going to move forward. And so I tell people that all the time. I know it sounds kind of fluffy and like fake, but it really isn't. When things happen, I do have to say, this is a part of it. It sucks, but we're moving forward. I have called people out online. I don't necessarily think that is a bad thing as long as you do it in the right way. I've done it in the right way and I've done it in the wrong way. Not going to lie. The wrong way I already took down, so you can't go find it. But I do think that there is a really good, I think it's okay to give people a good dose of accountability. And I think that sometimes people won't take accountability until other people see it. People are very brave behind their keyboards and their screens. And once you say, I'm not okay with this, I'm not going to allow you to do this to me, then they get, they usually will take it down because they know that they are in the wrong. So that being said, I have had a lot of amazing relationships that I have made out of my competitors. True competitors are just that, competitors. They're not enemies. They're not against you. They're really just for themselves. And I can't blame them for that because I'm for myself, right? So the best thing that you can do is just make friends with some of your competitors. They're not all going to be for you, but you might really find some good connections in there. So I just really recommend, if you think you know one that might be a good connection, reach out, because a lot of amazing conversations can come from that. I don't think Janine is on today, but Janine Sasso is another coach in the real estate industry. I am absolutely obsessed with her, but she's a competitor. But you know what? We get on the phone all the time and we're like talking about ideas. We're getting ready to come out with a product in partnership with her. And that's so much fun. And so if I wouldn't have been brave, I actually don't remember. I feel like she actually reached out to me first. But if we wouldn't have been brave, we wouldn't have had this amazing friendship that we found. We even met each other in person. So I really just recommend doing that. I have a mastermind, and one of the girls in the mastermind is a owner of a like celebration business where they make balloons. They do balloon bouquets and stuff like that. And she reached out to someone in her own community that does the same thing. This person is more like birthday party focused, and my friend is more like corporate event focused. And so, like, while that might be a little different, they met for coffee, and they started a great relationship. So highly recommend finding your competitors and not making them enemies. You don't have to make them friends, but I think it does help. And then it's funny how, when you're down hard, they can kind of come out and really support you when you least expect it. And that has happened to me before too. So any questions about that part? Okay, so here are some things that's kind of how we started. We are now at that point, we're still running good. Here are some things that I wish that I would have done different when I started my business. One was my finances. I was like, I'm good enough. I can figure this out. I will say, in my defense, I'm not sure I realized how big this business was going to become when I started it. I do think that there was a part of me where I was like, I'll always be an agent. And I haven't been able to be an agent now for probably 6 or 7 years because Elevated Agent has grown so amazing. And I absolutely love it. I'm obsessed with Elevated Agent. But when I did start, I definitely was doing it myself. If you are going to do e-commerce, and if you are going to sell on multiple platforms, and not only multiple platforms, but even just one platform, you could have multiple ways that people can pay you. I didn't realize all of the aspects that came with all of this. If you guys use PayPal on your website to allow people to pay for your product, that PayPal is like an alien, I swear to you. Like, the reporting on there is awful. Like, connecting it to your QuickBooks and having everything flow, I could never figure it out. I thought I did, but I never did. So I would have probably hired a bookkeeper from the very beginning. Maybe not at the level that I have one now, but definitely maybe somebody that could like check my work or maybe jump in once a quarter. There are people out there that do that, and they do that at a really affordable rate. Here's the thing that I want to make sure that you hear is, if you are doing an e-commerce business and you're going to hire a bookkeeper, you need to hire a bookkeeper that knows e-commerce, because there is a very big difference between e-commerce businesses and just a normal brick and mortar business. So what I mean by that is, especially digital downloads, is that not every state taxes digital downloads. It is kind of like the Wild West out here with digital downloads when it comes to taxes, and every state is different. So can you imagine keeping up with 50 different states' tax laws? Me neither. So what we call it is a nexus, not a nexus, nexus, Nexus. I shouldn't have spelled it because I don't know actually. And what that is, every state has their own nexus. They can say that you will hit nexus. Nexus means that this is when you have to start paying us sales tax. Okay. So when you hit nexus, it's one of two ways. It is either you sell a certain dollar amount of your product, or you sell a certain quantity of your product. For example, I just happen to know Georgia's. Georgia's is, I'm laughing because it just seems such a crazy discrepancy. Georgia's is if you spend $100,000 on one product or on your products, then you hit Nexus and you have to start paying sales tax over $100,000. Or if you sell 200 quantity of a product, then you have to start paying sales tax on your product being sold in Georgia. Doesn't matter what product of mine they buy. If it is a product of Elevated Agent, it still counts as my quantity count. Same thing with the dollar amount. Doesn't matter what they buy from me. It's once it hits 100,000 of any of my products in the state of Georgia, I now have to start paying sales tax. Imagine keeping up with that in all 50 states, right? So the nice thing about Shopify is it does help you with that. It kind of alerts you when you're getting ready to hit Nexus. However, I will say Shopify does not know digital products. And when states are, excuse me, and in what states Nexus is what. So when you're hiring a bookkeeper, make sure you ask them about digital product Nexus when you are looking to hire them. That is something I had to learn the hard way, and don't make that same mistake. The other thing, like I said, was that not all states tax digital products. So for example, the state of Kansas does not tax digital products. Illinois does not tax digital products. In the state of Kansas, it will in 2027. So again, try keeping up with all that. But I have accidentally opened sales tax accounts in states because I was like, oh, I hit Nexus, I need to. Thank goodness my bookkeeper knows. And she was like, nope, go close that right now because you don't need that. That is the power of a quality person that you can partner with. The other thing is just having a good accountant. Something I learned is that a bookkeeper and an accountant is not the same thing. I always thought it was. I always thought they were the same thing. And I know that seems really crazy, but I don't know why I always thought that. They are two different people. And once I got a bookkeeper, my accountant became even better because she was just able to do really what she is supposed to do, which is my accounting and my tax filing and all of that. So I learned all of that the hard way. And so I am passing that on to everyone that that is something that is really important to look at. Something else that has definitely been on our plate the last year and is not something I considered when I started my business. Again, didn't think it would probably get this big. So just to say that, like, please think big when you are growing your business, because I clearly did not think big enough. But that was getting a copyright. So let's talk copyright and trademark, because this is something that became important, and I never thought that this would be important. So once you land on your name, I would absolutely recommend trying to find a name that you can get everything with that name. And what I mean by that is you can get the email, you can get the URL, you can get the social medias, Now, you might be thinking like, that's going to be really hard. That is why, I'm going to get the stat wrong, but I'm going to be close. That is why about 80% of all of the major brands that you and I have ever known are actually words that are made up. Windex, made up word. Kleenex, made up word. So just know that if you make up a word, that's okay. That's actually probably going to make it a lot easier for you to get trademarks and copyrights. So we are Elevated Agent. And what I did not do correct from the beginning was I did not actually open the LLC in Elevated Agent. We have now, so don't worry. But I did a DBA at first, and I should have just actually started out our S Corp and the LLC all under Elevated Agent. But we didn't. So when it came to filing some of our trademark and copyright paperwork, it made it a lot harder to do. So make sure your paperwork is exactly the name that you want it and what you think that you're going to have trademark, because it will actually make it easier down the road. Know that when you are working with trademark and copyright, that you are working with the federal government. That means that they are very behind. They are actually reviewing trademark requests right now, I believe from April and May of 2020. 2023. It might be 2024 at this point, but last time I checked, it was still 2023. So they are very behind on their application process. Also know that when you are looking at copywriting, you cannot copyright a transposed name. Someone already had Agents Elevated copyrighted, so we cannot copyright Elevated Agents. So just to kind of clarify as well, that copyright is for names, and trademarks are for products. So just kind of keep that in mind when I'm using those words. So we would copyright the name Elevated Agent, and we would trademark the Elevated Agent Vault. That makes sense. So yes, this will be emailed out. We'll put it on YouTube so everyone can see the whole thing if they miss any of it. So that was something that I kind of messed up on that I wish I wouldn't have from the very beginning. Now, things that I feel like, okay, so those are kind of like the two majors that I feel like I messed up on. When I was making this training up, I really tried to think about something that you guys hadn't heard over and over, so I'm sure there are other things that I wish I would have done different, but those are two major things that I feel like I don't hear people talk about that. So I just wanted to kind of say those things. Once I hired my bookkeeper, I was also able to really see where my fees and everything were going, because they did work in my QuickBooks so well. And that is where, when we learned, using I just had the option on Shopify to use all of the ways people could pay. So people could pay with Amazon, people could pay with Google, with Apple Pay, with their credit card, with PayPal, all these things. And my bookkeeper was like, oh my gosh, this is a wreck. So sometimes everything is not always great. So keep that in mind. That is all something that the bookkeeper can do. But definitely once I hired that bookkeeper, it changed our money game. Our profit margin went way up because we knew exactly where all of our money was going. And that was amazing. Some things that I did right, that I feel like I did right on accident, was moving over to Shopify. I knew I needed my own website, but I really didn't know the benefit of having that main hub until I started developing all of our other marketing pillars. And I just have everything come back to that main hub, creating a really big sticky web where our customers get locked in. So if you come to our website from social media, then we're going to get your email, because we're going to give you some free stuff. And so then I'm going to start emailing you, and our email is probably going to take you back to our social media, or it might take you to our YouTube where you can watch some of our training. You guys, I do not market at all our YouTube channel, and we have over 1,000 subscribers, and I think we got 1,000 in a year. Just by posting trainings, and every once in a while I'll email my email list, hey, we have this training, it's over on YouTube. And so look, we are so close to getting that monetized because of our watch hours. So that is a whole nother stream of income that we didn't even consider when doing this. But that is a part of our sticky web. It's funny how the web keeps itself. I didn't even, create that line, and the web did it for us. So the other thing that we really, really hone in on are our emails. So we'll kind of finish out, this little section is pretty robust. So I'm going to finish out the training with just talking about our emails and how we use emails to market to our database. So on our website, I knew from the very beginning, and I think this is super key, and I'm still feeling like this, is don't make your freebies dumb. Don't give away a silly freebie. It won't work. I could give away a checklist for new real estate agents. Nobody's going to download that. Nobody cares. But if I give you $10 in free templates that you can then go and put towards whatever you want, that's definitely more worth it. I always think, would I download this? Is this something that I would actually give my information away? I was just trying to find something today online, and it was where you kind of had to put in your information to kind of figure out what you was like a workout thing. So it's like you put in your information and it spits out what workout would be best for you. And I was like kind of halfway through it. And I was like, oh my gosh, they are asking way too many questions for what I'm going to get. Not worth it. And I thought, man, that really just comes back to whenever you're looking at giving away something for free or pushing a freebie or trying to, especially asking them for their information in return for a freebie, it better be good. People are not giving their information away for dumb freebies anymore. So I'm talking like maybe like a free training course. Mickey, I'm thinking like how to, she has a beautiful planner beside my bed, or I would show it. I'm sorry. I've been using it though. It is just beautiful planner. But what if you did a series of a 10-minute video that you email them then once a day, or they can even do it on their own, where it is, this is how you can get the most use out of your calendar, or something like that. Like today, we're going to focus in on gratitude. This is how I determine my gratitude every night when I sit down. This is the environment I make out of it. This is the ritual I've made. Da 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 da. Tomorrow we're going to talk about starting your morning. Like that is something you can make for free. You can post it on YouTube for free. If they're giving you their email, I mean, you can use email for free. I personally use Constant Contact. So I do pay for it, but there's a lot of things that you can do for free. And that's a whole giveaway that people are going to give you their email for, but you have to make it worth it. People are not signing up for just silly freebies anymore. Any questions on that? I get a lot of questions that people ask about how the whole, like, I'm signing up, you're giving me your email, now I'm going to give you a freebie thing works. Shopify, if you're using Shopify, you can actually do this on just like when you make your website, you can plug it in there, or you can use an app inside of Shopify. If you have certain things that you want your website to do, sometimes you have to go outside of Shopify and use like a plugin. They call them apps, but a plugin and app is the same thing on Shopify. And we have a plugin in the app that does our pop-ups. So that is how we get our pop-up to work. You set it up inside of the app where it is like, okay, this is like the picture I want to use on the pop-up. This is what I want it to say. And then on the thank you page, you literally like load your freebie in there, or like we give our discount code, right there on the pop-up or whatever. And so that's what we use. You also have an option inside of software like Constant Contact where you can create landing pages or even like sign up pages and stuff like that. That is what we used for this training, was a Constant Contact sign up form. It's just quick and easy. I didn't spend a ton of time on it, and I don't think you need to. I think people right now are so inundated with information that if you overload them with information, they're more likely to click off. That is what we are finding when we're sending out information. Now, our email system, we use Constant Contact. We have about, I think, between 17 and 18,000 people on our email list. It has taken us all these years to grow that. We've grown it organically, just, giving away great things and people giving us their email in return. Or when they purchase from us and they sign up for our email marketing and stuff like that when they purchase. So that is how everyone has come to our email list. What we do different, I feel like, than some other companies is we love on our email list. We love to give away free stuff. Just in December, we did a 12 Days of Christmas where every single day, we gave away a freebie to the email list. And we did push it on social media, but we said, if you want the freebie, you have to be on the email list. Because I was like, I really need, if I'm going to put this much effort into this type of campaign, I need a really big payout too. And your email is a really big payout to me. Like that means a lot to me. So it's worth it. So we set that all up through Constant Contact. Every single day we had the email go out, and it just literally had the link to the freebie inside of the email. And that grew our email list. And it took 12 days of the freebies, but then we pushed it for about 10 days before. It was kind of a last minute thing we put together. It was just a fun idea that we had. And, you know, I think we ended up growing our email list by about 700 people. So I was happy with that. That was a lot. Yeah, Casey, I'll kind of talk about that at the end. So yeah, and anything that I'm speaking on the real estate side, like I know I'm just talking about real estate, but really you could do this for any type of business. And so just insert your name instead of real estate, basically. But so when we email out, we do very heavy on the visuals. And so we actually make all of our graphics inside of Canva, and we make them on what I would call a slide. So they're just square images inside, or not square, they're actually rectangle. I do a 800 by 500 pixel is the actual dimensions that we use. We make them all inside of Canva because I'm a marketing company, you know, and I want them to be pretty and look on brand. So if you want the most on brand email, I highly recommend just making it in Canva. There is an HTML method, and I think it's way too confusing. I refuse to do it. It has shown no difference on our sales. And so take that for what you want. I just think making the images inside of Canva, downloading them as a PNG, just a high quality PNG, and then I just upload it straight into our constant contact. And then I just link that one rectangle image to whatever product that we're talking about. The one thing that I have noticed inside of emails is that if you are going to be talking about a coach, coaching, like really any type of service, type of product, here is what we have noticed works the best. One product per email. If you do one product and you have a couple of variants of that product, okay. For example, we just sent out an email that was about our email templates that we provide. We did one type of email template. It was our under contract email template, but we do have it designed 5 different ways. So we do have those different designs in there, but it's still just that one product. The reason is that you're able to link directly to that one product. If you link to a homepage, if you link to a search page where a whole bunch of things pop up, they will not buy. They will click off because they are not going to do the work. Always remember to do as much work for the customer as you can. Like if I can take out a step for the customer, I'm going to do that because that means that they are more likely going to purchase because they have less steps to take. So I'm not going to advertise a journal, not going to advertise a training course, and then just send you to my homepage for you to go and search for it. No one's going to do that. They will jump off. So don't do that. If you want to do multiple products, I would definitely say make sure that there is a divider there so that way people know when they're transitioning to another product. And then also, let me think here, get back up. I lost my train of thought. Okay, so we're doing one product and then, shoot, I had another point I was going to make. But we like to mix our emails up a little bit with imagery and text. I usually do one like text box. So that way, if there's any SEO that we can pull out of it, then we're going to. I do like to try to repeat what is in our subject line pretty close to the top of the text that we do put in there, because then that's what the email provider is going to kind of read when it's scanning it. So some of the things to keep in mind when you are sending emails is you can use emojis. Actually, emojis allow or actually help your open rate. So we love using one emoji at the very beginning. We also love to use numbers at the beginning of subject lines. It really does help with open rate. So like 5 reasons to do this. 16 things to do in your town. I don't know. I think I did hear someone say odd numbers actually get opened more and not rounded numbers. So like 7 or 3, or whatever, instead of 5 and 10. Keep your subject line decently short. We try to shoot for anywhere between 5 and 8 words, if not even a little bit less. And then I would always also do your additional line, your additional subject line. And usually it is like a step below your main subject, and you can write something in there. That is where I would probably put a little bit more detail about what the email is about. I would definitely keep that first subject line to be like your hook. And I know what I was going to say. Also, caps at the beginning of your subject line. None of this stuff will get you blacklisted. It won't put you in the spam account. So don't worry about that. That is old news. Images in your email. You have lots of images in your email. It will also not land you in the spam account. What lands you in spam accounts are when you're sending to people and they're reporting you as spam. When you're sending to people and you're getting a lot of bounce emails, that is what is putting you in spam jail. So don't worry too much about what's in your content. Let's worry about who you're sending to. The other thing that we will do in our emails, we don't do it all the time because I don't want it to be overused, and that is GIFs. So you can use a GIF inside of an email. You can make them actually out of Canva. What a GIF is it's like a video, but it is a different type of file. So instead of like .mov or MP3 or anything like that, it'll actually say .gif. We call them GIFs. And it is just a really low quality. So it probably will be a little bit grainy, but that's kind of not the point of GIFs, but that's just kind of what to expect with GIFs. But I will sometimes put that at the top of an email because it will move in their email box. It actually does flash, moves, and plays. Unlike a MP4, will not play in the email. And so sometimes it can be really eye-catching. Some emails, they do block the images from being shown until you hit trust sender. So that's why it is nice to have a little bit of text in there. So that way they're still seeing the text and like understanding who they're getting it from. Okay. Are you using VAs to create some of your graphics? So that is really good questions. I do have a team. When I first started, I did all of the designs myself. I still actually will make all of the original designs myself, and then I do send them. I have a lead designer. She is out of Brazil, and she is I don't even like calling her a VA because she is a very highly qualified graphic designer who is very educated. So I'm 100% honest. I'm a true believer in paying really good wages. So no one that works for me makes less than $25 an hour. So if you're wondering if I'm doing the VAs in Philippines for like $3, I don't believe in that. So we don't do that. So I will just kind of give you a rundown of my team real quick. And there's me. Then I have my project manager. Her name is Lovely, and she is out of Florida. She's kind of my right-hand gal. She does design. She's not the person on our team that I'm like, here, I have all these design projects, but if we need something, she can jump in and do it. She also handles a lot of our technical side. And then she does all of our social media. Yay. And so that's Lovely. That's what she does for me. And then I have Maria. She's our head designer. She's out of Brazil. And then we have Divine, and her name is Divine Promise. No, Divine Promise Favor. I'm going to get that wrong, but it's amazing. It's the most beautiful name ever. She's from Nigeria, and she is a gem. Oh my gosh, like a gem. I actually did find her on Upwork. She's my only one that I do still pay through Upwork. So what she does is she's our customer service guru. She is also our SEO listing. So she answers all of our customer service emails. And it is amazing. Like didn't realize how much of my time that was taking, was answering all these questions. We do have a whole library of like canned responses just to kind of help us. You know, we get questions all the time like, how do I print this out of Canva? Well, kind of depending on what it is they're trying to print, we'll just email them or message them our canned response with a link to like the video. So Divine takes care of all of that, and she's such an angel. I'm just obsessed with her. I'm really all of the girls on my team I'm obsessed with. But that's it. That's us. That's just the four of us. We work very well and very tight together. Everyone works about all three of those girls. They work about 20 hours a week, so that kind of gives you an idea. We use Gusto for our payroll, and it's amazing. I think we're on our second year of using it for our payroll. It's something our bookkeeper introduced us to, and I highly recommend it. You can do overseas pay on that and in the States. The thing about overseas pay that I didn't know until starting all of this is that there's really nothing you need to pay someone overseas. I think maybe they fill out one form and then that's it. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know why I was feeling like I was gonna have to like report a bunch of stuff, but no. The nice thing about Upwork is that they do take care of all of your tax filing and filing for the person that you're paying. So you don't have to take care of any of that. They take care of all of it. I do recommend Upwork if you guys are looking for people. The one thing that I thought when I started looking for contractors was I was also like, I'm going to like find someone in the Philippines for $3. And then I learned more about it and I was just like, yeah, that's probably not for me. But also I learned very quickly two things. One, if you are hiring someone to do something that is a skill like design work, you need a specialist. You cannot hire someone that knows your CRM, that knows Excel, that also knows how to be an expert Canva designer, and also da 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 da. It doesn't work like that. You get what you pay for. And I will say that most people that I have hired, I've had to hire and fire quickly quite a few people. I always make them do tests. Like I give them projects to do. And then also I have just learned that the people that are the level that I am looking for are just expensive. They're at a higher level. I'm going to have to pay them accordingly. So at this point, that's kind of where I'm at. And so I just kind of want to encourage you guys to kind of think like that too. I'm not saying that you have to break the bank, but please know that you get what you pay for. So especially on Upwork. And I will say Upwork, they are very good at looking like they know what they are doing. I learned very quickly that people can put stuff in their portfolio that might not be theirs. And then when I've had them do, and that's why it's important to have them do the project, because when I've had them do the project and got their results back, I'm like, something is not adding up here. Okay. So that is definitely Upwork. You have to dig, but I have found amazing, amazing people on there. Maria came off of Upwork. She has since we've pulled her off and now we just pay her straight through Gusto. Divine is through Upwork. She actually prefers to stay on Upwork. The only reason why I offer to take him off of Upwork, because I think Upwork takes about 20% of the pay, and which is crazy. And Divine actually chose to stay on Upwork because she said that she wanted it to really make her portfolio look good on there and everything, which I understood. So I was like, that's your call. So that's how our team is designed. Casey, it is cool that they're not all local. I will say that it can be sometimes confusing with time zones. So I have a Mac, and I don't know if you can do this on PC, but I actually put the clocks on my background of my computer because I need to see what time it is in their time zones. And that made it so much easier. I don't know why I never did that before, but so yeah. And then let's see, do you email a certain time of day? Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple things about email. There is this website called subjectline.com, and it is amazing. If you go there and they have the option to sign up for their email marketing emails, like sign up for their emails, because they are one of the people that I get their email like once or twice a week. And it is one of the only ones I will read. I read the whole thing. I click, I do all the things. He tells me, I jump, like absolutely. Amazing meat and potatoes. He has a podcast. Jay is his name, Schwindelson, I think. He has a podcast, This Not That. And I love it because they're like 10 or 12 minutes. He will tell you, I will give you all of the content up front, and then we'll just talk whatever at the end. A lot of times I stay for the whole thing because he's kind of funny, but definitely do that. Subjectline.com. It will help you create a much stronger subject line before emailing, because if you think about it, your subject line is the very first thing anyone is seeing of you. If you do not catch them with your subject line, they are not going to open your email. So it is really important to spend time on that subject line. Okay, a certain time of day I do. Okay, also on that on the subjectline.com, they have actually I'm gonna actually upload it in the chat because it's that cool to me. The PDF I got off the website. I do believe that there is a link inside of this PDF to go to their website. And so this is what I use when I send out emails. I look at his calendar and I see what days that week it is green to send out on. And then I typically do Thursday or Friday, it kind of depends on what, if a Friday is green checked on his, then I'll definitely do a Friday send. If it's not green on Friday, then I'll do the closest. But and I usually do, since I'm sending out to so many different time zones. I have a ton of our customers are on coasts and I'm in the middle. So if I send out at like 6 a.m., it is going to land in California at like 2 a.m. So I kind of have to think about that when you're sending. You should too, though. And so I usually send out about 9 a.m., sometimes 8:45. And we have found pretty good success. I always resend to non-openers. That is game changer. Absolutely do that. And so what that is when I originally send out my email, I schedule it to go out, whenever Jay says, and then I typically do my resend. So if I'm sending out Friday morning at 9 a.m., I'm going to resend my email to every single person on that list that did not open it the first time. And I get the opportunity to change my subject line. So what that means is clearly my subject line did not land with them the first time, right? So I get a second chance at creating an even better subject line. So I'm going to change the subject line on this one to something totally different. And then I'm going to send it again to them. And I typically will do Tuesday morning at like 9 a.m. again. Sometimes I might mix it up a little bit. I really don't do afternoon. I have not ever had super good results with evening either, just because of who my audience is. I think you also need to make sure that you're considering who your audience is when you're sending these. Like if my audience was like young moms, I might actually send my emails at 8:30 at night, because that's probably when the kids are in bed and mom's probably scrolling. Maybe 9 o'clock, because 8:30 she might still be cleaning. But like that is something I would definitely consider. So I love resending to non-openers. Okay, so B2B means business to business, and B2C means business to consumer. So for example, I actually consider myself business to business, because I'm selling something to businesses to then give to their customers. So I would then follow the B2B form. But if I was selling a candle and I, was marketing to the people buying my candle, I would be a business to consumer business. I hope that makes sense. Any more questions? I actually do still have my license. We have rental properties now. And so I basically use my license to stay relevant. I don't want to lose touch with the community, but also then just to do our personal real estate stuff. So yes, I do still sell real estate. I'm with Stone & Story, a small brokerage. I get a lot of people that try to recruit me to other places, but I won't. So thank you so much. Okay, when you were showing the A-frame, you mentioned being able to repurpose marketing. Yeah, sure. No problem, Thomas. So there are certain websites that you can use that is like a QR generator. You can Google it. There's a lot that pop up. There are even some that are connected inside of Canva. So what you can do is, I used to be I used to have one and I can't remember what it was. But if you go to their website, you can actually create a QR code. And then within their website, that QR code, you can even build out a landing page. So if you wanted to, you could use that QR code over and over and just go in and change the landing page. So let's say this weekend you wanted to give away a flat screen TV for the people that came to your store. So you could use that landing page with the sign and let people sign up for the giveaway. But then next weekend, let's say you want to give away a free cell phone. All you would need to do is go to that website, then update the landing page for that QR code just to show like the new giveaway, or whatever. So that is then how you could reuse that QR code. The same thing could be true for an open house. Let's say if you used the same QR code, you could have a picture of the house that you're holding open on that landing page. And so then that way people would be like, oh yeah, that's the house I went to. That's why I want to sign in here. Like I'm at this house. Again, we're building trust with our branding. And then the next week you could go into that landing page and just update the picture of the house that you're holding open. And then when they scan the QR code, it's then updated with this new house. So I hope that answers your question, Thomas. Great. Okay, good. I actually love these signs. I got a bunch of different signs for an event that I went to, and that was my favorite thing that I ordered hands down. Okay, yep, we can definitely look at that. We don't do a whole lot of email signatures because different platforms kind of use them different. They can kind of show up a little bit wonky, but yeah, we can definitely do that. I was just thinking I kind of want to make a few tweaks to the emails in the exclusive style too. Any other questions? I'm leaving this up for conversation right now. So you guys feel free to jump in. I would love for everyone to maybe drop their name and their business or whatever in the comments. So that way, or you can even drop like your Instagram. We could go follow each other. That is amazing too. I love that. Anyone on here doing, oh, okay. Yep. I will talk about that. Thank you for the reminder, Casey. Yeah, Kirsten, thanks for jumping on. So courses right now, I think are kind of going through a transition phase. So I would be careful if I were sitting here thinking about making a course and I was going to devote a bunch of time to creating that course, I would definitely have a very clear vision of what I would do. And here's why, is because I think right now, like I said earlier, we are just inundated with information. We have information overload right now. So I think if you're going to do a course, but don't just do a course. You're going to have to do something to where it's like you're helping them take action, like maybe some sort of strategy behind the course or some sort of challenge or something that's going to get them in the course and like actually taking the information, because that is the challenge people are having right now with courses. People aren't finishing them. They're spending money on them and they're just not finishing them. And it's kind of a struggle. So what I would do if I were to do a course, I would probably either make it like a fast course. So like fast track your way to XYZ and have it be like I said earlier, that like maybe 5 different videos, but make them short. People don't have the time to take and watch an hour-long video over and over and over with all of these courses. I would also make sure that you include lots of supplemental products to go with it. So maybe a journal or some way that you're going to get them to come back and buy more from you. That's the one thing about courses that I have noticed, is that there's not a ton of that sticky web with courses. So people are buying a course, taking it, and then never coming back, right? Because they don't really have a reason. So I would maybe say here's a checklist, and then say if you want the updated checklist for next quarter, you can purchase it on the website. Or here is a sample of our journal. If you want the full thing, go here. or just anything like that that's going to pull them back to purchase more from you, I think could be beneficial. But if anything with courses right now, they're tough. They are tough. I've had a lot of people want us to do courses, and if you want to do a course and use it as a giveaway, absolutely. I like that. So how I would make a course is honestly, like, I would probably just sit down with my web camera, maybe use Zoom, I don't know, or another way of recording, and I would just sit down, record all of the videos. And then for hosting, Teachable is a great platform. Um, but I've also done things even as simple as YouTube. The only thing I would say about YouTube is it might not look very professional, but I had that Show It website, and I made a page where I had like a private Canva training course, and I made the page invisible to everyone. But if I sent you the link, you could see it was private. And so you would get the link. And then on that page was all of the different YouTube videos, and I just embedded the YouTube video inside of the landing page, and I thought it looked nice. And we even had like a graphic on the side and everything. And so that was something that was super low cost, that you could definitely do, especially like I said, if you're just doing it as a giveaway. I think people are a lot more forgiving if it's a freebie, when it comes to some of those nice branding things. So like if they see a YouTube video but it was a freebie, they're probably more like, okay, like they might not. I would love to know if that answered your questions on courses. If there's anything else about courses that you're kind of wanting more information on, like, ask, because I'm happy to help. The one thing right now that we do see working really well instead of a course is memberships. So right now, memberships are really well, or being marketed really well. The only thing is, I would say, like, January and February are technically the worst months to promote memberships. So we're almost done with that though. I like the membership model because it is a reoccurring revenue. We have 2 memberships, and our memberships are also about a quarter of our annual income. So they can really start to add up. I never expected to start these 2 memberships and have it become that much of a revenue stream for us. Any other questions? Oh, okay. At what point did your business you when to hire a bookkeeper? Okay. I hired my bookkeeper too late. I was starting to get letters from, this is going to sound bad. I was starting to get letters from like the state and the federal government and stuff saying like, hey, is this you? Like, not bad, but just like, I think you forgot to file this. And I was like, what is going on? And I kind of got upset with my accountant because I was like, why am I getting these? Like, I thought this is what you were supposed to do. And finally she was like, her name is Karen, so I'm not calling her a Karen. But finally Karen was like, this isn't my job. Like, I've been kind of doing this because I really like you, but just so you know, like, you're getting big, and this isn't my job, And I was finally like, thank you for telling me that, because I had no idea. And so then I went and hired a bookkeeper. I would say, I would probably say, if you're hitting Nexus in multiple states, and even I would have probably hired a bookkeeper when I started hitting that 75,000 mark, but maybe not like the full time. Like, I would have maybe started making those relationships with a bookkeeper, maybe started looking, but then also, like I said earlier, finding someone that would maybe like check in on my work. And then definitely once I hit that 100 to 150, you probably need a professional in there once a month, just making sure everything is looking good, especially when it comes to all these platforms and their fees and the way that they report those. The assistants, I am learning very quickly that the people that are mega successful, they leverage, and they're probably leveraging before they think that they're ready, and they're just preparing to be at that level from the very beginning. And I am now trying to think like that. So I would probably hire my first assistant, probably around that 100,000 mark. What I did was I am a really big believer in the 80-20 principle. I'm also a really big follower of Ben Hardy, and he really promotes that. He talks about 10xing, going from 2x to 10x. Like, I love that book. And so something I did was I wrote down every single task that I did every day. And then he basically says, so I wrote down my list. I think it was like 47 or 48. And then I said, okay, well, then I can only do 20% of all of these tasks, right? Because this is every single task, 80-20. And so I figured out that it was like 9 tasks that I had to pick, because that 9 of those was about 20%. And then everything else I had to delegate. And so that was about a year and a half ago. And when I did that, our business grew that next year by 65%. It was crazy. So what I did was I highlighted mine on the paper, and then I said, okay, the rest of these tasks are either an assistant job, a designer job, or a specialist job. And so like a designer meant graphic design, because that's a big part of our company. And then assistant, was all the other stuff. And then a specialist was like a bookkeeper or an accountant. I don't remember what else, a lawyer, whatever. And then that's when I started leveraging. I just slowly started leveraging. That's when I hired my first assistant, and that was because, I actually hired Maria. She was my first hire as a design assistant, because I knew that I needed to multiply my designs faster than I could. So that right about that time, and then I did the list, and that's when I hired my first assistant. And I went through several because, like I said, it was a learning process. But when you find your people, you find your people. Like, I hired someone this last summer to come in as like a middle management. I was like, I could take myself out of the business a little bit more and allow me to focus on some other ideas that I have. And it was a bust. She kind of threw some of the other girls under the bus a couple of times on some projects. She was also a little bit passive aggressive, and I could handle the passive aggressive just fine. But when she threw the other girls under a bus because a project didn't get done correctly, I was like, there's no way. Like, that is cancer in the workplace. There's no way. And I fired her immediately. Yes, Casey, I will. Let me. Okay, just dropped the bookkeeper information. Any other questions? I'm kind of reading up here. Is it the workload too much at the moment, or are you making a certain amount of money and justify hiring helpers? So like, usually I think I make the decisions based off of where I see us going. I hope my internet's working okay. I feel like I'm kind of jumpy. For example, we do a lot of Facebook ads. I just want to make sure, if I'm freezing or something, please let me know in the comments. If you guys are seeing me okay, maybe give me a thumbs up in the comments too. My feedback is not very good right now. Good. Okay, I'm just gonna keep talking. Okay, thank you. So how we kind of base this now is, for example, we do a lot of Facebook ads, and I do all of the Facebook ads. It's just kind of a really big revenue generator for us, so it's hard for me to kind of let that go. I'm working on it. But I knew this year I wanted to add on Google ads. Well, I went and tried to learn Google ads, and it is a whole nother beast. Like, it is a whole nother beast. I have no time to learn it, no time. And so I ended up hiring someone to do that. We hired an agency, not in-house, because I knew it was going to need to be a specialist. Like, I'm not going to waste my time with someone that kind of knows Google, because she did an online class. Like, this agency has their crap together. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger on that one pretty quick. So let me think. I believe Divine was probably our last. Yeah. I can. Maybe. They're out of London. Just a second. I might have to find this one. My computer is running a little bit slow, so I apologize. But Divine was our last one. And it was when I made that list, I realized how much time I was spending on answering customer service and listing our products online and stuff. And so I realized how much my time was worth compared to how much I could pay someone else. And it was just astronomically different. So that's when I knew it was time to hire that person. Like, what do you mean, Casey? Like our agencies, a master list of those? Not really. No, I probably should, I guess, but I don't. Probably because I feel like I'm still kind of learning myself. Like, I will recommend my bookkeeper all day. I'm a little bit nervous to recommend the Google ad people because we're still in such the infancy of working with them. My computer's just running slow. I am trying to find their name. Casey, I can definitely come up with something like that. Not a problem. Marketing is Canva. I'm just kidding. Any other questions? I want to know, like, tell me before everyone jumps off, like, what are you excited about, like, with your business? Like, what is something with your business that you're really excited about right now? I'd love that. We are we are adding a new service on to Elevated Agent, and that is going to be Elevated Accountability. I haven't even said that out loud to anyone yet, so you guys hear it first, other than the team, I guess. But so we kind of are taking exactly what I just shared about doing courses. And instead of doing courses or coaching, we really just want to help people implement everything that they already have. So we are going to start an accountability challenge and really help people just implement everything they already know. Questions, drop anything you want in the comments. Thanks for sharing everybody's contact information. Oh, that's exciting. 23 years. That's a long time. That's a long time. 23 years. Yes. That's awesome. I love that. I also love helping women. You know, I like helping anyone. It's hard for me to say just women. I actually really like helping people. Like, I want to be the easy button. Like, I just want to help people make it more efficient. Like, I want to be here and help you make marketing easy. Because I know I wake up every day excited about marketing, but I know most people are like, this is the last thing I want to do. All right, guys. Well, if no one else has any other questions, I'm going to wrap this up. I appreciate everyone that was on here. If you guys have any questions after, please feel free. I'm going to drop my email in the comments. Please note that it is .co. It is not a mistype. Feel free to message me if you guys have any questions after the training. Thank you, guys. I hope everyone has a great day.